Hi, just Jean talking. I am Jean, a registered nurse, maternal child health and family planning nurse practitioner, and my job is to talk to you about issues of health and hygiene and to bring it to you in a very simple form. Before we start our discussion today, which is grief, I hope that I have earned your subscription. If not, I hope that you'll be thinking about subscribing real soon. I'm trying to grow this channel. Give me some likes, some subscribes, some shares, and don't forget to hit the notifications. Thank you. So, grief. Quite simply, grief is a deep sorrow that's brought on by the loss of something or someone. Grief is a highly complicated set of emotions. It's not something that can be tied up in a nice little bundle and given to you and shown how to deal with it. It's something most of us will have to deal with as we go through this life. And it's kind of like on a spectrum. Grief can be something kind of superficial, or it can go way off on the deep end. I can give you a superficial type of grief that I had personally. As I went through the aging process, I had grief over the loss of my lifestyle that I had as a young woman. I used to love to get my hair done and have it fly and have a new outfit on and hit the streets, going to a party, I'm meeting new people, doing new things. I used to love that. And as you age, and you have children, you have responsibilities, you can't continue that lifestyle. And it's a loss. It really is a loss. There are a lot of things that happen to you as you age that you miss. I miss having a full head of natural hair. I miss having that real smooth skin. A lot of things. But when you think about it, that's real superficial. Think about people lose dreams. You had a husband that you thought would be with you forever, and suddenly he had different ideas and wanted to go off and do different things that didn't include you. You have grief over that. What about a guy that has played fantastic, say, basketball all through high school, college? The scouts are scouting, they're talking this money, and all of a sudden you get in a fight with your girlfriend. The police are called. There's a felony assault charge, and next week you got a letter in the mail saying, dear sir, we don't think that you will be a good fit for the Atlanta Falcons, whatever. You're not going to be a good fit. That's the loss of a lifetime dream. So while it may be superficial when you compare it to some other losses, it's still a loss, and people have to adapt and adjust and move on and continue their life. So grief has several different stages. I'm going to talk about 5, although there are probably more stages than that, but these are the kind of like the main categories. And I can remember going through these stages. I've lost a younger sister and an older brother. Younger sister through a head-on collision on the highway, and an older brother who was murdered. So I've had good experience with grief. The first stage that they talk about is the shock and denial. And I can remember specifically that my sister had been on the highway. She had been trying to leave her home and move back home to here. And things kept happening. The moving truck wasn't ready. The people who were supposed to move her didn't show up. Some key didn't fit. Anyway, she had all this trouble getting started on the highway. So she finally got on the highway, and she's calling every couple hours, I'm here, I'm here, I'm here. Okay, great, just keep on coming, keep on coming. Finally, she called and said she got stung by a bee. And she said, should I go to the hospital because I could be allergic? And I said, no, if you were going to be allergic, you'd be dead by now. So she continued on the highway. So as she got along the highway, another young woman, my sister was 29, another young woman who was 30 had been drinking and drugging, and because she had recently lost her kids to the state. So she was committing suicide, they believe. So she crossed the highway and came into the oncoming lanes. A guy in a big truck saw this happening. He could see way down the highway that this woman was in the wrong lane. So he started blowing his horn, telling everybody, get over, get over, get over. So he warned about 3 or 4 cars. But Kim did not get the message. So the woman ran into her, killing both of them instantly. So when the guy called me at around 8 o'clock that night, because I had went to sleep and she still wasn't here. I knew she should be here by around 7. I got a call around 8:30 or 9 and woke me up, and the guy said, are you related to Kim? And I said, yes. So he said, there's been an accident. Oh, I jumped up out of the bed and I started putting my shoes on. I said, what hospital is she in? Where is she? Ma'am, there's no reason for you. No, I want to know. I need some phone numbers. I need to know where she is. What's the directions? How do I get there? Ma'am, there's no reason for you to come. Why? Because she did not make it. What do you mean? What hospital is she in? I'm on my way. So he finally got across to me that she had been killed. So wow, I'm sitting on the bed and I'm just like, I don't believe this is happening because I just got through talking to her about 3 or 4 hours ago. That's the shock and denial. Each stage is going to last a different length of time depending upon the person, on your makeup, your age, your support system, how you react to things. Everything's going to be different for each person. So once I got there and saw her and I realized, yes, she's actually dead, then I'm angry. The anger sets in. That's the next stage. I'm angry because if this truck driver saw this person, coming, and he got all these other people over, why in the hell didn't Kim see him? Why didn't he get her over? I just can't believe that this is happening. She's just 29 years old. How could she be dead? That's the next stage, the anger. After the anger, you reach the bargaining stage. And this is where I say to myself, I wish I had told her to go to the hospital, because if she had gone to the hospital, then she would not have been on that highway. I probably would have told her, she probably would have been in the hospital a couple of hours. I would have probably told her, get a hotel and I'll just call and pay for you for a hotel room because you don't need to get on the highway. It's late now. But none of that happening. But you keep on saying to yourself, there has to be something that I could have done, and you're a little bit, guilty because I didn't do it. I should have said this. I should have said that, but I didn't. So there you go. You're in the middle of your bargaining stage. The next stage is depression. And this is the worst. You're in the midnight hour. You're in your room. You don't want nobody to bother you. You don't want no music, no TV. You're just mired in sadness, overwhelming sadness. Oh my goodness, you just feel like there's no end to this. It's going to be going on forever. You bring back all these memories of different things that happened and didn't happen, should have happened. You get triggers as soon as you start thinking you're coming out of the depression a little bit, something will trigger you, and then you go right back into it. It could be a song. I know at Kim's funeral, the song that they were singing, it was Boys to Men, although we've come to the end of the road. Wow, every time I hear that song, I would go right back into this deep depression, and it just seemed like it would not go away. And then while you're in the depression, you go back to all the other stages. You get angry again. You're mad because why does she have a sister? Why does she have her sister and I don't have mine? You even go so far, how come her sister didn't get killed? But mine did. It's just really, really strange, the different emotions that you go through. And then I start thinking, maybe there is a time and a place that everybody has. When you're born, I sometimes believe, I really kind of believe this, when you're born, you have a designated number of hours and days that you're going to live. And it doesn't matter what happens at that designated date and time, you will be in a designated spot that you're supposed to be in, because this is what has been ordained. And I kind of believe that. And sometimes that made me feel a little bit better, because I thought there was no way that could have been avoided. There's nothing I did, it's nothing that anybody did that could avoid that situation happening. It was something that was destined to happen. If you're lucky, after 7, 8, 9, 10, a year, after a year goes by, sometimes you reach the point where you can accept that this is what happened. And there reached a time that I could hear that song, the Boys to Men, and I would kind of smile and remember how beautiful she was, how beautiful she looked even in that casket. It was white, and she had on all this Delta red, because she was a staunch Delta. And I remember all the good things and all the fun things, and how she lived such a full life, worked for NASA, rode on Air Force One, could get in any set anywhere in the country, just you name it, she could talk her way into it. And I started thinking about all those good things, and I kind of reached the point of acceptance. But it's a long, long road to reach. So there are different kinds of grief. There's something called delayed, where something happens and you're so busy that you don't really take the time to grieve at that time. And as time goes on, you'll go back and start grieving. There's absent grief. Sometimes people look like they're not affected by the death of this person. You think, well, she didn't care nothing about her mother. She didn't even cry. Sometimes people don't show it outwardly. They hold it all inside. And you never know that they're going through the process. Cumulative means that sometimes a terrible tragedy will happen. Excuse me. And really, the younger the person is that you lose, the deeper the grief, because you don't expect it. This is somebody who's not supposed to be gone. They're only 29. You know, if it's your grandma and she's 95, then you can kind of accept it because she's out of her misery. She's not in pain anymore. But sometimes something will happen. You lose a person, and then right on top of that, something else happens. Something else just as tragic. And now you're dealing with cumulative grief. And so those stages that you're going through, they're going to be just exacerbated much, much more, because it's grief and trouble on top of trouble, and you feel like, how can I manage this? Who would put this sort of misery on a person? Is there a God? Why would someone who has almighty power, why would they heap this sort of pressure on one person's little bitty shoulders? And it's terrible, and these people go through much more terrible stages. The grief is going to last much longer. And you get to the point where grief is traumatic. That means that it gets to be so bad, and it's going on for so long, that it actually interrupts your life. It interrupts your lifestyle. The things you used to like to do, you don't like to do anymore. The places you used to go, you don't want to go anymore. It completely changes your life to the point that you almost cannot bear it. So those are the stages of grief. And like I said, it can start way down here, low end of the spectrum. You lost your husband, you lost your girlfriend, you lost your boyfriend, you lost your home through foreclosure or whatever. But then it can go all the way to the deep end, where you have trauma that affects you for the rest of your life. And as I said, no one can tell you how to grieve. No one can tell you how long it will last. It doesn't go by, well, Sally only grieved for this long and she had the same circumstance that you had. No, it doesn't go like that. It's highly individualized, and no one can tell you how it starts, how it stops, what stages you're going to go through, if you're going to miss a stage. No one can tell you. It's all depends upon what's inside of you, how strong you were mentally before this even started. All that plays a large part in it. And I really want to leave this with you. Never feel that you have to go through this alone. Reach out to people. Think about it. People don't know how to reach out to you. They're afraid that they're going to step on your toes. They're going to say something that's going to trigger you and make you fall back into a depression. They just don't know what to do, because we just don't know how to deal with it. None of us are experts on grief. But don't feel that you have to do it alone. Reach out to people, especially when they offer a hand to you. Even if they don't follow through, it's just because they don't know how to. Seek help, seek professional counseling. Don't let it reach the point that you're so deep into a depression that you feel like you absolutely can't come out of it. Because you can. There's always a light at the end of the tunnel. This is something, this too will pass. If you don't believe it, I didn't believe it, but it's true. This too will pass. So guys, don't forget to seek professional help if you need it. Thank you. Help a sister out to grow this channel. Subscribe. Do all that good stuff. Thank you.